welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Mr. Charles, and today I will be doing Hamlet Act 1 Scene 3. Okay, so obviously you need to watch the previous videos in order for this one to make sense. Before I do start, please like, subscribe, and comment as well. Also turn on your notifications to be notified when I do upload. Okay, let's do this. The first thing that you notice about Act 1, Scene 3 is that we are being introduced to two very important characters. And namely, they are Laertes and Ophelia, the children of Polonius. Okay, so remember, Polonius is King Claudius' advisor, and now we are being introduced to Ophelia and Laertes. Okay, so Ophelia is obviously the daughter, and Laertes is the son of Polonius. So after being given, permission to go back to France, Laertes is obviously, going to embark on this journey. He is studying music in France, and he is about to return. He only, traveled to Denmark for the king's coronation, as we know. And now he's going back to France to study music. Before departing, he's obviously meeting with Ophelia. And this is a very interesting conversation. He says, "Let me hear from you. Let me hear from you." In other words, he is telling Ophelia to write to him constantly. Okay, bringing across this demanding, commanding, assertive, controlling, feeling. Laertes comes across as being very controlling, very authoritative, very protective of Ophelia. And we later find out why. Okay, he then goes on to say that Ophelia must be very mindful of the prince. So obviously Prince Hamlet. And he says that Ophelia must not be oblivious to his intention, and that Ophelia must be very careful, because Hamlet is part of the royal family, and he is a slave to his family obligations. In other words, Hamlet is displaying affection towards Ophelia, and according to Laertes, it is insincere. He's only doing this to get his greedy hands on her treasure chest. In other words, her virginity. And this is according to Laertes. And he says that you need to protect yourself. Do not be gullible and oblivious to Prince Hamlet's intention. And that is obviously, to ruin her reputation. Okay, he says, do not become a target of his lust. Again, asserting that he comes across as being very protective of Ophelia. We can also therefore see that Ophelia is a bit, she's young, very inexperienced and naive. And the impression is also that Ophelia can be easily influenced as well. Ophelia then, ironically responds by saying, okay, my brother, I will take your word into account, but do not be like bad pastors that, preach and then they do the opposite. In other words, Ophelia says, don't preach to me about how I must conduct myself when you are going to France and when you are going to do the exact opposite. So you too, Laertes, look after yourself and conduct yourself in an orderly manner. Okay? Polonius is then, surprised to see Laertes is still there. And he encourages Laertes to leave to France. Polonius then proceeds to speak to his daughter and to share a similar sentiment, and that is, what is going on between you and Hamlet? He says, I heard that he has been displaying affection towards you. And then Ophelia doesn't deny this. Yes, the prince has been showing affection towards me. And there you can see a shift in Polonius's attitude. Maybe disgusted, very, very, very upset as well. He also comes across being very assertive and demanding and controlling of Ophelia by telling Ophelia, tell me the truth. So Ophelia must, obviously tell him what is happening. Or another form of evidence of his assertiveness would be when Polonius says, do as I say, obviously instructing Ophelia not to spend time with Prince Hamlet. He goes on to say that Prince Hamlet is young, and subsequently, he has more freedom, and therefore he must not be taken seriously. So obviously, Polonius is trying to manipulate and influence Ophelia not to spend time with him. Before that, Laertes did exactly the same. Okay, so they obviously know something we don't about Prince Hamlet. So that's Act 1, Scene 3.